The interledger protocol is something I have never talked about before in this film. We hear a lot about this, but no one pays enough attention to it. I will talk about what the interledger protocol is and why it is so important for Ripple's big plan to work. Even though it's easy to see why the interledger protocol is so important for the future we're moving towards, not many people talk about it in the right way. People talk about what it is like, but don't say anything. People disagree about how to use it specifically. That's why it's very important that we talk about those exact things in this video. As always, please watch the whole thing. Thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to watch these movies and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for your help. Things are really important. I really hope that you all enjoy the stuff. Before I start this movie, I'd like to quickly talk about some of the things that made me want to make it in the first place. There were a lot of questions I got about the interledger protocol, but I never really looked into it. I had always known what it was, but I never really understood how it could be used. Because of this, I was never able to give others a full account of what the interledger protocol meant. Instead, I constantly saw how well it could be scaled up. This short example only shows how the interledger protocol is different from the Bitcoin Lightning Network. It shows that the interledger protocol can handle trillions of transactions per second, while the Bitcoin Lightning Network can only handle about 40 million. This makes me wonder, why don't we here to learn more about the interledger standard and why it's important? Read this. First, guys, let's talk about where blockchain technology stands right now. There are still some rules that aren't clear. And not many people are still using blockchain technology. The XRP's TPS isn't working right now. Guys, why would we put out a tool like the interledger protocol that can be used on such a large scale if we don't need it right now? Considering how much it stores, the book is great. When these tools become widely used in the future, certain things will have to be bought. By connecting the XRP ledger to a system like the interledger protocol, it can be made much bigger and handle a lot of the world's transactions. But we don't need to push this kind of technology right now because the XRP ledger can handle the TPS that is already in place. It's important to remember that the interledger protocol has not been named. We don't use the protocol because I think these cases will make it easier for you to understand. I have some really interesting papers that show how the interledger protocol can be used. Hey guys, I wanted to start by looking at what Gax said about it so you can see how it fits into the bigger picture. The XRP ledger can talk to different payment systems thanks to LLP. Ripple uses XRP and the XRP ledger to make cross-payment solutions that are quick and cheap. This talks about how the XRP ledger and Ripple work together. If you want to understand what's going on here, I think this is a great place to start. The big company Ripple works with a number of other groups to make the payment systems they use better. The XRP ledger speeds up the process of making payments. Better and more stable. The XRP ledger also has a number of extra tools that are built in right away. A basic example of an institutional item is the XRP ledger, which can outsource to 5, 10, or 15 different companies what it can do itself. A lot of people agree that LP will let institutions talk to each other even if they don't exactly add the XRP ledger to their payment stack. Likely, which is another reason this caught my attention and made me stop and think. We didn't hear much, so this is what happened. About this, if you keep digging deeper to find out what kinds of businesses are running behind the scenes, you'll find it odd that no one seems to be talking about interledger protocol. Every time you look at what the institutions are working on, they always say we're using interledger protocol. In this case, the Visa patent talks about the interledger protocol, and Ripley in particular. This is just one more example of a company using the interledger system and talking to Ripple about how it works. It's interesting, though, that Visa is now actively filing patents for this technology. This will be talked about more, and here's one more great interledger protocol example, low level with the XRP system, because I think everything here is just meant to help you see the bigger picture. There's no need to worry at the end of the movie. I'll tell you everything. Finally, I believe it is very important to understand the study flow in order to see how everything fits together. This is straight from Ripple, since everyone has never agreed on a single record. The open source interledger system, which was created by Ripple, brings together different ledgers without making a new one. The company changed its name to the XRP ledger to emphasize how important XRP is as an asset, which helps XRP's efforts to make markets. Because of this, the interledger protocol is a neutral tool. All of these different ledgers are linked by the interledger protocol, but there are still times when you need to settle an asset. As we've talked a lot about, the interledger protocol will connect these different payment ways and vehicles to the XRP ledger like Rails. We've talked about this a lot, but we don't think Bank of America will build its private centralized ledger on top of the public XRP ledger. We think that Bank of America will connect its secret centralized ledger to the public XRP ledger instead. The goals of Bank of America are, in fact, very different from those of privacy and security. You wouldn't want your neighbor to see your bank account, so you wouldn't want this person to see it either. It makes sense to build it on public XRP. We are going to build it on a side ledger. Since it will be built on its own technology, you will need public liquidity. This is what makes the internet of value possible. You can use the interledger protocol to connect these private ledgers to the main XRP ledger and make the ecosystem work together. We do not expect businesses and people to base their personal and company finances on public ledgers. They will build them on private ledgers instead, but just as some people want to share private information with the public on social media sites, you also need to connect private cash, which is going to be very important. People will want to add their assets and value to public standards because they will be better than private ones in their own right. For example, a private system can't get to DeFi, only a public protocol. In this case, the Interledger protocol can do that. My goal in connecting these valuable private repositories to the public chain was to show you that the world is really moving in this way. Please find attached 2 movies in which the BIS talks about their tokenization efforts. Once more, the BIS is working on these tokenization projects behind closed doors, but in the end, they will need money from the people. Pay attention, we can solve this problem with the help of the banking system. When unified ledgers are used, the financial system counts on token exchange intermediaries to help tokenize assets, trade, onboard and offboard users. Several of the system's middlemen and ledger owners would be in charge of keeping track of coins. The process of proving title and the party's identity will be very important. That sounds hard to understand, but who has what in the off-ramps is necessary for the system to work with the economy. Many studies and articles have explained that Ripple wants to use ALP join several ledgers with the XRP ledger acting as the public's cash. It's not a surprise that these people and Ripple have similar ideas for this project since they've been meeting since 2015. Many big banks and governments won't come up with their own answers in the end. People like Ripple may build them, and they will depend on people like Ripple. Ripple may be able to turn them into open answers. I hope this helps you see how ALP fits in with all of these young people. All of these different solutions will need liquidity, which the XRP ledger offers. ELP basically acts as a link between the different public ledgers, which were all made for different reasons. I think it makes great sense to use the ledger to keep track of money. It's also an important function that I forgot to talk about earlier in the video. Right now, some of Ripple's products, like RippleNet, use ILP to connect different payment systems to the XRP platform so that everything works together smoothly. As a result, I expect more progress to be made in this area. I think that other groups will use ILP to get to the XRP ledgers. As far as Ripple and the bigger picture go, everything makes sense to me. I hope this video was useful. Please tell us what you think in the space below.